Okay, great. So distance and timing drills. We do this all the time in, saber, modern Olympic fencing. But are there other ways of training distance timing from other arts? Shastar Vidya, for instance. Yeah. Jeff Tsai, Forte Swordplay. Today we're actually picking up from a conversation that I had with Asante Lawla. We've had on this channel quite a while ago. And this is the first time that we've actually gotten Asante to come into the club here in the US. He's coming from London in the UK. And one of the great things of having people come is we can actually do a lot of this stuff and get like live feedback on whether we're really interpreting these concepts and applying them correctly. So Shastar Vidya, we've got an art that is dealing with sort of battlefield tactics and applying them. When we look at like European sources, we get a lot of stuff which is documented from a very dueling kind of perspective. And so now when we're talking about, okay, actually battlefield tactics, we've got multiple like skirmishing units and all this kind of stuff. How well does that stuff translate? Does it turn into actually some training which is a little bit of a different lens and a different layer of interpretation to what we're used to? So what I'm going to do is start a little bit here with Andre, who is one of my senior instructors, and I'm going to show a little bit of what we showed at the beginning, just a distance and timing kind of drills where we're trying not to parry, but we're trying to actually hit when the other person is outdistanced and out-timed. So you'll notice as we do this, a lot of the time, typically when we're playing these distance and timing games, I'm sort of fading backwards as an attack's coming in so that I get him to sort of go from having an initiative to all of a sudden being behind on an initiative when I can come in. Now, sort of in contrast to that, we've got Asante here who can talk about sort of this other approach from Shastar Vidya where like it's not so much that you're going to fade away before you actually come in, but you're going to kind of take a different approach. So do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So the general idea is in battlefield combat you don't have time or space to move back. So you want to learn how to walk up to the point of danger and take a slight pause, misalign, and then step straight in. And that way you're not risking the chance of stepping back and messing up the flow and ending up in what we call a kashmikash, which is a struggle. We really just want to walk in and slip past.
Yeah, in other traditions, that might be.
Yes. Okay.
It's actually, yeah.
And I'm done. Yeah. Oh, do you want me to show it now? Yeah.
I guess. Sure.
Cool. So, essentially, what I'm doing is I'm walking up to him. I'm learning roughly where I think I'm going to get hit. I'm making all the targets nice and easy for him to hit. I'm saying throat, heart, arm, and as I get there, I slow down a touch and drift to one side just a touch. We call this fighting half the body. It's the first thing you learn. And immediately after that, I'm stepping in with this, and then I'm learning to push. Because generally in battlefield combat, the idea is to push the opponents back or rout the opponents. Striking is something you want to do, but it's not the main focus of what you're aiming for.
So I think that's great in terms of sort of the theory behind it. So I think that's great in terms of the theory behind it. So one of the things that we want to do here is just get a little bit of actual practice on doing this. So how would we execute this? How would we actually practice this?
Cool.
So do you want me to do this? Do you want Andre maybe to?
Do this.
Okay, right.
So generally speaking, you want to take out as many variables as you can. So I'm just going to have my arm up, make sure my face, throat, heart, all the good targets are all in like one line. I'm going to walk up to you and I'm going to let you hit me. Ideally, I want you to do it as fast as you can, as aggressive as you can, so I get a realistic expectation. Then in my head, I'm almost listening for that point. I'm saying, that's where it's going to make contact. Can I drop just behind that like I just did there? So I'm walking in and I'm saying, that's roughly where it wants to hit, and I'm making it awkward. Once I know roughly where it is, I'm going to do the same thing, but as a safety, I'm going to move slightly out the way as well. And I'm doing this quite big. In actuality, you're trying to do it as small as you can because then I can just immediately ride onto this. And the first weapon you'd learn this with would be just a club. So there's no real technical stuff. It's get the club, push them back, and then barge them out the way. Right. Kind of thing.
Makes sense. Cool. Okay. All right. So Andre, if you want to come on in here. So I know we've gotten a chance to be sort of practicing this a little bit. I know you're part of the club here at Forte, kind of teaching all the time. Like what's what's your take on sort of like the difference on how this is implemented?
But one of the biggest things that Asante said while we were training that stuck with me is that he sees people in our sport do this all the time. It's an awareness thing. It's not what we teach intentionally. It's more something that people sort of fall into these types of movements naturally. One that I picked up on after we talked about it for a bit was if I get caught in a bad position, the way that I shift my weight when I fade away is very similar to what he was teaching for how we drop in safely. And that's kind of it off the top of my head.
Cool. Yeah. So I think one of my big takeaways is just the sort of change in momentum is different, right? So what I was kind of saying about like the fading away business. So basically when he's attacking, right? So rather than I go here and then I'm coming, so there's kind of like a sort of zero momentum to acceleration immediately afterward. The idea is like I'm actually coming in and I have velocity already, right? But I just time it so that I maybe reduce the velocity a little bit as I'm coming in, so that passes. And so I'm already with acceleration, with velocity coming in behind it, rather than going from zero to whatever that is. So if you think about it from this kind of approach where we're not kind of like hanging out just at distance, but we're actually starting from further distance and actually coming in. If you can actually get that to happen, the person who's on the receiving side is in for much more of a rude awakening, right? It's almost like, you know, we talk about other connections with other physical sports like rugby and all this kind of stuff. And I think there's a lot more of that kind of idea of like really someone coming in and I don't want to say tackling, but more like really constraining someone's space and being able to like come at it from different angles, not just, you know, kind of from a direct line straightforward, but like also being able to use a lot of that lateral stuff as well. So anyway, this is the kind of stuff that we are going to be exploring here at the club at Forte, but also we have the opportunity this weekend. Asante will be teaching at our Iron Gate exhibition, and you know, based on some of those teachings, we have a whole mass melee at the end where we're going to get a whole bunch of units to actually do various skirmishing type things. So we'll see how things go. Hopefully we'll get some fun footage of that in the next few weeks. So more to come.